What's up guys, I'm Kevin. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my wrecked 2009 Ducati 1198S project and show you what I'm doing to it, what needs to be done to it, and where I'm trying to take it in the future. So here it is. It's clearly missing a bunch of parts. It's looking kind of rough as it sits, but it's come a long way from where it was at when I first got the bike. It was sitting for a while after being crashed. I tore it down, cleaned it up a little bit, so it's not as dirty as it was. But it's gonna need probably a good power wash and a few little things like that just to make sure it's real clean. It's gonna need a bunch of different things in regards to maintenance. It's gonna need fluids, probably a timing belt, full service, spark plugs, basic stuff for any motor vehicle, especially one that's been sitting for a long time. So we'll do that to it. It's already got a few things that I've replaced already. This front clip was broken off, so got one from Ducati, put that on. You can still see the blue tape from where I was lining it up with the original. This front end here is all new compared to the old one. Old one was all bashed in and snapped off, so thought it was a good idea to put a new one on. Only made sense. It's gonna need new tires, cleaning up the exhaust, making sure there's no rust. It's got a little surface rust on it, so we'll try to take care of that as much as we can, but it's not too bad. It's not horrible, but it's not a brand new bike, so it's kind of to be expected, especially since it sat for a while. It's gonna need some new plastic parts. This one right here, it'll focus. Yeah, that one's all smashed and missing parts to it. I've already gone ahead and got a new tailpiece for it. Does not match the color of the bike, but I figured maybe I'll paint it or wrap it or something like that, and reuse part of the old fairing kit and maybe fiberglass it back together, and then either wrap it or paint it. Yeah, it took a gnarly hit, so I still gotta swap over the lights and stuff like that, but that'll be that for that old body kit. But I'll probably still get a new one. I think they come from overseas in the UK or Germany or something like that. There's a company out there that still makes them, and they paint them real nice, so probably snag one of those for it. And then yeah, it should be pretty sweet. These bikes got a lot of history. Ducati has won a lot of championships with them. Real solid bike, real amazing engineering on it. Kind of the last of its kind. Everything these days is all electronic, and this is the last one of its kind, where it's just all analog. It does have traction control and I think maybe wheelie control or something like that, but it's pretty minimal on the electronic side of things. Yeah, this thing's gonna be pretty sweet ride, so clean it up and then maybe track it or something like that if I can get into decent shape. I've got some stuff going on with my ankle, but yeah, so we'll get that taken care of. I forgot to mention, tore apart the tank as well, and there was a bunch of corrosion, so fuel pump was all toast. It wouldn't turn on at all. Put power to it, wouldn't even buzz or anything like that. It worked at one point, but for some reason it just decided to die. But pretty clear why. All this gunk probably got in it, and fried it. So got one coming in the mail. We'll throw this thing in the ultrasonic, clean it up as good as we can, put a new fuel pressure regulator in there, and should be good to go. So of course, since it was sitting for so long, I grabbed it a new battery and I had it on the charger just to make sure it's good to go, make sure it was gonna stay charged and not go flat, just maintain it. But I just unplugged that, gonna plug in the ultrasonic cleaner and set that thing up to clean out this fuel sending unit. So got some general purpose cleaning powder for the ultrasonic. We'll throw some of that in there with a little distilled water. Yeah, that ought to do right there. Throw a little distilled water in with it. Not overfill it. That ought to be alright. As long as we get it submerged enough, should get it pretty clean. Alright, so gonna drop this thing in. You know, normally best practice would probably be to pull this little C-clip out of there and pull the whole wiring loom for this thing off, but it's all corroded and really doesn't want to come apart, so we're gonna just drop it in there and try to get it as clean as we can, and then maybe take it apart later. You know, it shouldn't really affect it. I'm just gonna try to keep the actual connector out of the water, and should be just fine. Shouldn't be an issue as long as we dry it off real good before reassembling it and putting it all back in the bike. So should be good to go. Alright, we're back to check on the fuel sending unit. See how it's looking after 5 minutes in there. Still pretty gunked up. You know what, I'm gonna throw a little bit more of this cleaning powder in there, and then grab a toothbrush and scrub it a bit to try to clean it up. So that should be enough cleaning powder, and then we'll turn it back on, set it for 4 minutes, and we'll also turn on the heater. Then just throw the lid on as good as we can. So be back in almost 5 minutes, check up on it again and scrub it down. Alright, back to check on it. Got a couple little scrubbing devices. See how much we've got. Alright, back to check on it, see how clean it's getting. Got a couple little scrubbing devices that I'm going to use to try to get it a little cleaner. Yeah, I can see some chunks floating around in the water, so it's definitely getting there. So I'm gonna scrub it down and see what it looks like. Alright, so I decided to pull off the little plastic thing that holds the actual pump in place. Discovered some more corrosion under there. Gonna have to take the pick to it and pick it all out. Pretty gummed up in there. And then pulled out the Dremel. Gonna use a little wire attachment, a little wire reel, to just try to clean it up as much as I can before I install it. It's pretty tough to get it perfect. I think in the future maybe I'll probably upgrade it to a CNC unit. Yeah, there's a company that makes fully billet aluminum sending unit, so probably get one of those later on, but they're not super cheap, so I'm not too excited to go run out and grab one right away. I also have to JB weld a little piece that snapped off that holds in the fuel pressure regulator. It shouldn't affect it. The actual regulator sits right at that little pin and goes all the way down into there, and the gasket seats way past where it broke off, and over on the other side there's a spot where the tube for the fuel sock connects to the fuel pressure regulator, I believe. So it shouldn't be a big deal. It's not real structural in the sense of holding it in or anything like that, but you know, I'll add it back and should be good. And then should be ready to throw it back in once it's all assembled and clean and fire. Alright, so I've got this thing all cleaned up, ready to put together. I went ahead and JB welded that little piece that was broken off, and it's gonna be fine. Not the best looking thing ever, but it'll be solid. And then for the fuel pump, I went ahead and ordered some stuff from Quantum Fuel Systems, a fuel pressure regulator, and the fuel pump kit. So check them out if you're trying to get something from them. They're pretty quick shipping, and took a quick look at the pump and it looked pretty decent. So it comes with the pump and a new filter. Alright, so we're back with the fuel sending unit. Fully assembled, all plumbed up, all wired. We have a zip tie holding it all together with a little foam sleeve around it, keep it from rattling and moving around at all, so it's pretty tight. It's pretty good. Pressure regulators in there. We got the JB weld on that little tab. Super strong. I decided to remove a little bit of the excess JB weld so it wasn't going to be so bulky in there. It wouldn't really make a difference, but you know, I can pull on this thing and it's just not going anywhere. Super strong. Next step is just to drop it in the tank. Bolt it up with this hardware I got. I got some new hardware for it. Old stuff was a little bit stripped out. I would have grabbed some stainless steel stuff, but this is what they had, so for now we'll just use this, and then maybe later on down the road we'll swap it out for something else, but this should be just fine. Shouldn't have any issue with this stuff. Got everything plumbed up, got it on there temporarily, got it with full of fuel, or at least enough fuel to get it started. Let's see what it does. Prime it a couple times, get some fuel through the lines. Yep, I can hear it in there. Okay. Keep in mind this thing doesn't have an exhaust at the moment, so it's going to be extremely loud, but we'll see what it does here. Almost. Alright, a little quick test fire and running good as ever. Just got to do a little bit of maintenance to it and it'll be ready to take out for a little bit. But probably do some work on the fairings, maybe do a wrap on it. But sounded pretty good, so yeah.